All old stories are dying, whether you want them to or not. All old stories are dying. I don't mean every relationship's going to die. I don't mean every business is going to fall. I mean the old timeline is dying. For a business to thrive, it will have to move based on a new timeline that's based on love, that's based on connection, that's based on heart. A relationship will make it if it's based on love and connection and heart, and each person is connected to themselves and bringing a connected love to each other. That's a different world than two codependents, because two codependents are going to go down together, because that's the old timeline that says, I'm not complete unless I have you. Let's talk about timelines for a minute. Imagine that the world, that the earth had a timeline for you. Imagine that the timeline is this earth going up vertically and it healing things and it just moving from a state of full-on love. And in this timeline, you feel full love for yourself. You don't have little areas in your body you're used to avoiding. And imagine that was what the world had for us, this beautiful timeline based on whole connection, all of us understanding that every person on this planet is connected to me. So your pain is my pain. That's actually the truth. And this is where we're headed, to this timeline, where we move more in the moment and in alignment with the planet, with the universe. And imagine that that timeline was hijacked. Imagine right when you're born, someone teaches you, nope, you have to go to get an education this way, which there's amazing things about education, but I want you to plan 12 years of learning to follow authority. I want you to plan 12 years of studying with your mind and ignore the entire essence of what you are, because very few schools teach you what you are. Just learn what happened in history and learn how science works and learn math, but forget who you are, right? The most important thing for you to learn. We want to take that away from you. And then that way you start to learn to follow authority. You start to learn to just believe anything that the life outside of you says. It says follow the news, follow what people say. Practice hearing the bell every day at school so that that gets you conditioned to hear a bell at a factory telling you it's time for lunch, a bell saying back to work. Plan on this thing, and here we are in a false timeline, in a timeline that doesn't honor all of you and moves in a linear way. And in this timeline, we all look to the future because we don't understand that we're enough now. And we keep staring at what we will be, and we keep saying who I am is what I achieve, or who I am is what I, overcome, or who I am is how much money I make. And we listen to the false timeline. And that false timeline will have to collapse because it's bullshit. But that's the way you control a lot of people. You keep people under the illusion that they're different than other people based on age, based on gender, based on skin color, based on country, based on football team, based on high school. We're all different. Life is competing, even though on the highest truth, we are all one, and we are being called to fall into the oneness. And that's why this time is so painful, because you're purging the lie of the false timeline. You're purging the lie of a non-organic, false, achievement-based, separation-based, addicted-based timeline. And your addictions come from you not feeling complete because you're always under the illusion you are what you achieve, or you are this victim, or you are this other thing. And you're trying to get to a place of high because your high is masking your low. Highs are not high just because they're a high. They're also because they mask your low. In other words, you get a good relationship started, you feel so good. You know why? Because for a minute you don't have to feel the pain that's stuck in yourself. You go, good, Dad won't abandon me now because I have this person. It's not just that the relationship's here or that you're high, it's that you don't have to be with yourself alone. And we are horrified to be with ourselves alone. That's why when we are alone, we live on our phone, and we live online, and we live on TV, and we just have to chase people. We have to chase being loved. And that's all clearly not working. So this year, the first thing that happens, we have COVID. taking people from, a lot of people from their jobs, their ability to just get on planes, their ability to drive to work, their ability to work at places that have gone out of business. And not only do they take them away, but they take away a lot of people's opportunity to get another job. And this is the false timeline falling apart, right? So COVID starts to get people to be home. And how many people have you heard say, actually, of course, we don't want the illness, but the silver lining has been I'm discovering it's so nice to be with my family. It's so nice to be home. I'm getting more time to myself. I'm perceiving things different. Yeah, the true timeline is starting to birth. The true earth, the true unconditionally loving aspect of what you are is birthing. And it doesn't move based on higher, which is what we're used to chasing. We need to feel the high that we had of our greatest moment in the past. Like, it could be very like me to be like, I need to feel the high of being a stand-up comic. I sure miss when I had a New York Times best-selling book. I sure miss when I was doing stages. Yeah, I miss the high, but that high comes with a big low. And it's not about being higher anymore. It's about being hearer. It's about being more here. And at first, here doesn't feel as good as high because we're addicted to high. But I promise you, the longer you stay here, the more it expands because you're actually accessing the full love of all you are. And I realized something really interesting. Some people in this time are scared of things getting really good, meaning that if you already had somewhat success, things are expanding and doing things, and a lot of people who had certain success see this as a threat to their lives. That who they are is someone who achieved all this money, who they are is someone who achieved all this stuff. So I'm scared that new expansion is happening. Like, what are the new laws gonna be? I've built this giant empire and I'm so scared of this falling apart. And then there's other people who have big open hearts but are also totally scared of things getting bad. It's a weird analogy, but also for our growth, life is trying to get into the shit that's deep down in all of us and pull up stuff. So there's levels of feeling bad that we're being challenged to feel. And let me give you an example. I know I talk about this company a lot, but an example is, and hear me out, is Tesla. Because Tesla is a company that for them to build what they're doing, there were so many car companies that were competing with them, or fossil fuels companies that all are advertised on the news. They're all attacking Tesla. And Tesla has to be okay with getting shit from everybody because there's billions and billions of dollars to be lost in the old world if an electric car company keeps thriving. So they had to be okay with getting attacked and people hating on them and being present and not even responding to it and not even trying to fix it. There's what your ego wants to do as a response, and then there's what your soul wants to do in every moment. No matter what you're feeling, notice there's an egoic response to this thing and a soul response, right? I've had times in my life where something happens and my ego wants to prove something or get someone to see something, and my soul goes, no, you are an expanding consciousness. Let this shit play out. Become the greatest version of yourself. And ask yourself how many times you want to fix something from your ego when your soul is doing something more magical. Right? Exactly. It's not about being right. It's about being you. And when you stay true to what you are, you actually will birth something that's bigger than you understand. You will birth a world that's bigger than you understand. So in that process, guess what comes up? All the parts of you that lived in the false timeline. And that's what the pain is. If you're feeling a lot of pain, it's because, first of all, get excited, because if you're feeling a ton of pain, that means your consciousness is so high that what you're not is breaking off. Right? Some people don't allow themselves to feel the pain, and as their ego tries to fall apart, they stay connected to the old story and get madder and meaner and louder, right? And try harder and more effort because they're scared to just feel the pain. But if you could just sit and feel the pain, it would fall off of you. But if you're in a place where you can sit with and be with the pain as it's coming up, oh, it's like loosening up. Yeah. That's the old timeline. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit timeline. And it's trying to leave you. The lie that says who you were was that moment that was really amazing in the past versus who you are is this moment. Like, how many times do you have ego kick in and go, I just missed that time back then. I'm trying to be like that person. No, 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 don't do that. Don't do what you used to be. Love what you used to be, but in the new world, we connect with all of you, and who you used to be is like the icing, and you start to finally meet the full cake of what you are. I want to meet the cake of what you are. And in the new world, you're much more present. And life isn't about achieving nearly as much as it's about being. And ironically, the more that you are, the more life will come to you. You'll accidentally achieve more because you're not trying anymore. Hard effort will die. And it'll just much more be about being. It'll be about your presence. It'll be about what you are. Because it's much more about the long-term investment. I was listening to a guy talk about a stock. It was Tesla, and he goes, only get this stock if you're interested in the long term. He goes, because I know that it's 1,000, but I promise you eventually it'll be 10,000. And he goes, but he goes, we might have a crash soon, so it could, if you're buying it for right now, don't worry about it. And I thought that's what I want to be. I want to be the long term Kyle. Right? What's the long-term you? What's the you connected to God, where even if things happen and fall off, you're still here? Even if parts of you that you aren't anymore fall apart, you don't try to keep those things. You stay in the magic of what the hell you are. What's the long-run you? What's the long-run you? What's the you that stays in the greatness of what you are for 10 years, 20 years? So that the temporary can happen and come and go, because the temporary that you're feeling is the massive pendulum swaying of the old world collapsing. I used to live in Washington State, and there's footage of an old bridge that started doing this. It's crazy. In Seattle, there was this bridge in the 50s. I don't know if anyone's seen it. There's like a car on it, and the bridge starts to do this, and it's swaying, and it's like black and white footage, and you see a guy running off, and it's old time. He's like, he's singing that while he's leaving. Oh, I'm leaving, see? Look at you. And then the bridge just falls. That's what the world is right now. The bridge is falling of the old world. But what you don't understand is you can fly. And so the more you understand you can fly, the more you can be present for the old world to fall. Ironically, it needs to fall for most of us to understand that's the case. Ironically, the old world needs to fall for us to understand that's the case. So what you are seeing in the chaos of the world is good if you allow yourself to be connected to what you are here. It might not be really high, like you found the answer to life. It might not be really low only. It's here. And you'll notice these feelings of rocking and craziness and pain and shit coming up, coming up, coming up. And you can't get rid of it at your own level. You can't decide when it goes. You can't be like, okay, I get it, fall off. No, it comes up and it's nuts, and it comes up and it's nuts. And then there's just this moment, and you'll be like, how did I get that moment? I'm free. What did I do that minute? It doesn't matter what you did, because that had nothing to do with why it came off. It came off because life and the universe decided it was time to. And you start to get, I don't have control of this shit. My job is to understand life will decide how this works. So you just start to sit like this. And life goes da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then you're like, oh shit, I feel like shit. And the ego wants to fix it, and it's scared that this will happen and this will happen. But what you don't understand is if it does, you'll be free. The second it happens, you'll be free. Because you were negotiating and not wanting it to happen. But when it actually happens, it's like death. You're free. You don't have to keep fixing it from happening. You don't have to keep manipulating it from happening. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to come up with a solution. You're free. It happened. You've now entered a new world where your greatest fear has now happened. In this new world, you can move so much freer because your biggest fear has now happened. You're free. This is a big deal. So understand the biggest thing that you're worried will happen to you will be amazing when it happens, because you'll have to move from a place of protecting it from happening to acceptance. And once you're in acceptance, you're now in a new level, because it's not only death to the idea of that happening, but it's also death to the you that's been scared of that happening. That part of you just died too. So what births? What shows up when you finally have killed off, in a very loving way, the part of you that has always been scared of that thing happening? You don't know the power of you when that thing you're worried about happening happens. There's a lot of people that are scared they'll go broke. And then when they finally hit zero, they make a bunch of money. You know why? Because they have the thing happen they've been worried about, so now let's go kick ass. Their mind was actually full of the fear the whole time. So instead of making money when they were worried they'd go broke, they kept looking at the thing they were worried about. And then it happened, and now they can go kick ass because there's no part of them worried about that anymore. They're free. Same with a breakup. Oh my God. Some people get in a relationship and go, oh my God, I'm so scared I'm going to lose this person. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Guess what you're doing? You're creating lose the person so that you can be free. Everything you're worried about, you're actually asking for it so that you can be free. Now, you can also start to understand this is the case and not wait till it happens to be free. In other words, if you could take in the idea and understand that eventually when that happens, you'll be free, you could just decide you're free now then, right? Because I don't have to wait till it happens and create sabotage over and over and over again. But for people always asking me, why do we sabotage? That's why. Because you wanted to purge the part of you that spends a lifetime worrying about that so you can birth the you that's free of that worry. That's why you sabotage. Because otherwise you'd create the thing that your ego wanted and still be the part of you that's holding on to what you don't want. And you don't want to get what you want while you're still worrying with what you don't want. You get what I'm saying? In other words, you don't want to make $1 million if you also have a diehard fear of being broke, right? Because you'll just sabotage it so you can be broke to free yourself from that worry. So instead, you go, let me have this worry until I experience it. Now I'm free. Now I can do anything. So what you are is trying to birth by killing off what you're not. Congratulations. That's what's happening in 2020. And it's doing it with the whole world. And there are some people who go, this is horrifying. I don't like this thing that's getting bigger than what I am. Narcissistic minds, and I don't mean this with judgment, in a certain ways all of us have narcissism, but if someone's primarily in a narcissistic mind, nothing scares them more than the world getting bigger than their ego can handle, because that would be death to where they are. And narcissists do not want what they are to be killed. So a lot of times they'll build something, and if it starts to get bigger than they're at, they sabotage it. Right? Because it's now bigger than me. I can't control this magic. What you want to do is let the part of you that's running how everything works die off so that you can grow with your creation, so that you can grow with your relationship, so that you can grow with your business or your income or your creativity. See, you need to grow, right? You need to grow. And if you have a business get bigger than you are deciding you are, then you're going to also sabotage it, right? So as the world gets, the world is growing, even though some people are scared that it's shrinking, it's growing. It's growing. People are being seen. People that haven't been able to be seen are being seen. Birth is happening everywhere right now. And so people are going, this is bigger than I have. I'm used to my certain amount of money, my thing. This is beyond me. So there's a decision there to keep the old world alive. And what you're seeing right now is also a split between people who are ready and creating space for a new world that I just described, to there are people that understand the organic timeline and are holding space for the organic, true, earth-based timeline. And there are people who really want the circumstances to stay the way they've been. So you're seeing those people not feel through shit and do everything they can to switch to a place of anger and blame, external shit, anger here, because they're scared that the old world that they're in is falling apart. So that's why you might see certain marketing that no longer serves people get louder and crazier, and you might see more pressure from people and a louder judgment. And that's why Twitter and Facebook are just screaming anger, right? Because people that are not willing to feel their feelings consciously are now caught in the old story, and the old story is trying to come out, but they think that's them. So the old story is what, if we are the old story, this thing that's trying to be purged, you're grabbing onto, right? So we have to become this moment so the old story can be puked out of us, because all old stories are dying, whether you want them to or not. All old stories are dying. I don't mean every relationship's going to die. I don't mean every business is going to fall. I mean the old timeline is dying. For a business to thrive, it will have to move based on a new timeline that's based on love, that's based on connection, that's based on heart. A relationship will make it if it's based on love and connection and heart, and each person is connected to themselves and bringing a connected love to each other. That's a different world than two codependents, because two codependents are going to go down together, because that's the old timeline that says, I'm not complete unless I have you. The old timeline says, you complete me. The new timeline says, I complete me. And the whole me brings me into the relationship, and I only will date a whole you. And we are going to have a whole, each individual us, two individual unique whole people hanging out with each other. That's a lot better than two codependents going, you complete me, you complete me. That's dying. That's dying. Why do you think the divorce rate is so high? Why do you think so many people are breaking up? Because people are getting aware that they're more than their relationship, their career, their money, everything else. People are getting aware of that. So as you get aware of that, the old shit is starting to fall off. What a gift! You with God, you with the universe, you with your heart, you with your intention, you are birthing right now. The true you is birthing right now. You are birthing. And if you had a codependency on an old thing, that hurts. But it's not even that that's dying. It's the you that was attached to it that is. And it will come out your eyes as you keep feeling it. And I promise you, there's no going back. We don't have a choice. We don't go, oh, I get what's happening. I'm going to go back to the old way. The whole world is screwed and going into the new world. The whole world is going into the new world. Now, there's some people that are angry when I say that and will fight this, and there's some people that will surrender. And the more people fight, the more they will inevitably have to surrender. And the more people surrender, the faster they move. So can you surrender that your bank account is supposed to be a certain way? Can you surrender that your career is supposed to be a certain way? Can you surrender that you need to know what to do next? That's an old world. I have to know next steps. I have to know next steps. In the new world, you enjoy the moment. Do you get the difference? In the old world, you live in the knowing of the next steps. In the new world, you enjoy the moment. Do you see the difference? In the moment, next steps present themselves, but you're never searching for them. Your search is in the way of them showing up. This is about your surrender. This is about you being receptive to a different planet. This is you being receptive to the world changing around you. This is you being receptive to the holy shit magic that you are. In the old world, you need to know, what do I do? So what do I do? That is a sentence in the old world. The old paradigm is, what do I do? And you know what you're really saying? What do I do to not get abandoned again when I'm 5? What do I do to not get yelled at by my dad? What am I doing to not get hit again? What am I doing to not have my narcissistic mom shove me into a wall and make me feel like I'm not enough? What do I do? What do I do to prevent myself from feeling that? The biggest thing that's being purged is your old pattern. Your old pattern. The pattern that was created the second you felt your first moment of trauma. That second, when you sang a wrong note on stage and got really embarrassed, that moment when your parents left, that moment when you felt unseen, was when the false timeline also can kick in, right? And kicks in and it goes, protect. We got to protect. We got to do this and do this. And then you create what you need to. You create an achiever. You create someone who makes a ton of money so that that doesn't happen. You create your, I told you, mom, that I'm like, you create what you need to keep yourself safe. And in this new timeline, you're safe. In this new timeline, you cry out that old story. In this new timeline, you're enough. In this new timeline, your spouse is God. It's here, this moment. Take a deep breath real quick. I'm so honored to be with you tonight, because this is going to eventually be a time that we look back at as like one of the most historic shifts in humanity. 2020 will be filed as one of the biggest years ever. And so will, I bet, 2021 and 2022 also. There's going to be just the loudest crashing of everything. And if you're staying center in yourself, you'll be okay. Don't get caught in the bridge. Don't get caught in the comings and goings. Do you notice how fast everything changes anyway? Do you notice how loud the news is about something and then you forget it the next day now? Right? Some story comes out, holy shit, I can't, then we forget about it the next day. Why? Because the bridge is like this now and it's too quick and the stories don't mean anything. They're loud, they're quick. It's the whole world purging the old shit. So it's like, yeah, this person, and this thing, blah, blah, blah. And now you're just here connected to you. And what are you doing? You're holding space for the new world. This is an art, and the most important thing, this is one of the reasons why you're here. To embody and hold space and be one of the first that acts as the butterflies on the planet as people are going into their cocoons. You do not, the next 2 years are going to be totally hectic, and you don't have to have a hectic 2 years. You get the difference? The next 2 years, 3 years are going to be chaos, and it doesn't have to be for you. If you allow yourself to purge your old story by being fully present and fully loving with every part of yourself, I swear to God, the old story will be purged. And you won't even be on the same frequency as the chaos that's still going in the circumstances. You'll be on a new frequency. And as you're on that new frequency, you will be connected to other people who are on that frequency. We will be building new things, creating new things, and just waiting for the world to catch up to it. So you can even start the building of what the new world looks like. And that could be, if your heart, it's a lot of what it is what your heart wants. Like some of our hearts go, I'm supposed to be this big achiever, but my heart just wants to travel and I want to live in like an Airstream or some shit and pay hardly any rent. Then you need to do that. Like I have all this shit that I could achieve, and I was told by my parents that I'm supposed to be blah, 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 blah. But my heart just wants to have a small, like old cabin and make very little money and just create and paint. Then do that. The whole world says I need to be in a relationship. But when I listen to my heart, I just want to be single for a while and be with my aloneness and cry for a while. Then do that. Please do that, because those are the steps to the ascension of the new world. Listen to what you want. Undo what you should do. I can't tell you how many clients I have that have said, I'd love to do that. I just have so much training in me about marketing that I'm supposed to do things this way, this way, this way. And I'm like, I know. Yeah, that's an old paradigm, and I totally hear you. And I know I've had that too, that says you have to do things this way, this way, this way. But in the new world, success is based on vibration, not action. It's not based on hard effort. When you hear these speakers, how'd you make it happen? Oh, you just constantly are in the grind. You always are kicking ass. That's awesome. That's cool. In the new world, it's about vibration. You're going to hear speakers become huge. And how did you do it? Just surrender. Just cry all the time. Just say goodbye to what I thought I was. What, you didn't do anything? No. And the more I became receptive, the more everything magically happened. The more the right people showed up in my life. The more I didn't need to be huge, the more I was able to just kind of effortlessly, moment to moment, gently do what I love, make just a little bit of money, always have enough. How'd you do it? Just cried a lot and rested. I rested a lot. Because the world rests. The earth rests right now. It's just doing its thing and resting. We should be moving at the frequency of nature and earth, not the frequency of hard effort based on I don't want to be abandoned. There is a you that is a high frequency that is going to be fine. Just stop getting in the way of it. Stop getting involved in the circumstances. Stop trying to achieve shit. Stop trying to fix shit. Those are all egoic patterns. Yes, rest, because you could rest all the way. You could literally lie down on the couch for a month. I promise you, you will birth such a more amazing version of you on the other side. Because it wants you to be in this frequency. If you lie on the couch and don't interrupt yourself with the chaos of what's going on Twitter, you won't believe how free you are.